Thursday ọ̀sẹ̀ yìí olórí ogun ayé rẹ̀ máa ṣubú lulẹ̀ nínú àdúrà. Àwọn àṣà ọmọgbé ogun máa fẹsẹ̀ fẹ́. Lábẹ́ ìfàmì òròyìn àpá wòlíì máa jẹun àti àwọn olórí ẹ̀mí tí wọ́n máa pẹ̀lú Prọfẹ̀tà Gbémisọ́lá Ibrahim JP ṣiṣẹ́ ìránṣẹ́. Big Clinic Solution Mountain. Kátó-dé ìdí ayùn rẹ̀ police station. Circular Road Junction nídìí ayùn rẹ̀. Kí gbogbo ẹni tó bá ń bọ̀. Fún omi kẹ̀kẹ́ lọ́wọ́. Pẹ̀lú yanrin ilẹ̀. Fúnra lọ́wọ́ àdúrà. 08055164104. Ní Thursday ọ̀sẹ̀ yìí agbára máa yí ọwọ́ padà. Ọ̀nà àbáyọ rẹ̀ máa là lórúkọ Jésù.
Ẹnjiníà ẹgúnṣẹ́ o. Adigun òun náà rèé o ṣé wọn náà rí pé ọkọjá ara dáradára ilé la kọ́ lọ́dà bíi paradise ọ̀pọ̀ gidi gan nígbà tá a bá sì fi rí bí ọ̀sẹ̀ mélòó kan sí ìsìn èmi kíní ó ti kó lẹ́gbẹ̀ẹ́ yín tẹ́nàntì.
Àyìndé la ní n wò ló donílẹ̀ débi tọ́wọ́ akọ́rùlé tọ́wọ́ yàmísírò agbègbè tọ́ yáàyè báyìí.
Wọ́n má bí ẹni jẹ́ ń pẹ́ san. a máa ṣe pé ń ṣàlàyé fún ọlọ́dún tó kọjá ni. pé gbajúgbajà iléeṣẹ́ alára àgbà ìdá ni Design Bricks Homes and Property ní iléeṣẹ́ tí ń talẹ̀ lọ́nà rọrùn ń bí mo já ọ sí pé ní Design Bricks Homes and Property wọ́n gbà kí èèyàn máa sanwó lẹ̀ díẹ̀díẹ̀ bẹ̀rẹ̀ látòrí 5,000 sókè. wọ́n ń fún èèyàn ní búlọ̀kù àti sẹ́mọ́ǹtì téèyàn fi kọ́kọ́ bẹ̀rẹ̀ foundation náà kódà tó fi mọ́ red copy survey lọ́fẹ̀ẹ́. torí ẹ̀ mo fi ní kí wọ́n náà ọmọ náà gẹ̀rẹ̀ lọ́dún 2021 yìí àǹfààní promo lóníranran àti pabambari ti free roofing ìyẹn bíbá ni kan lé ẹni lọ́fẹ̀ẹ́. ìgbà ọ̀tún ló dé yìí ìwọ náà tètè kàn sí wọn láti alẹ̀ tiẹ̀ láwọn estate wọn tó wà ní Ìbàdàn Abẹ́òkúta Ṣàgámù Mòwe àti Níjẹ̀bú. ìwọ ṣá ti pè wọ́n sórí aago wọn 090-410.
wo jẹ́ǹdé Design Bricks báyìí èmi náà fẹ́ báyé jókòó parí lálọ́ọ̀dù.
Adigun àjọsọ àtàdéhùn bẹ́ẹ̀ o.
Safasa pelisizo simnyama Iwasafa isizo saba Yamula mo Anijani ko Kalizela Wenhaye wemodo Safasa simnyama Iwasafa isizo saba Yamula mo Anijani ko Kalizela Wenhaye yakala Pasapasa pelisizo sinyama Iwasafa isizo sabatu Alamula Anijalaningo Kalizela Wemaye wemodo
All right, welcome back and thank you for staying with me on The Reach. Mr. Nkauduma, the Afenifere on the phone because he will be joining via telephone call from Lagos. In a moment, I'm sure we'll be able to bring him on. Please just stay with us. It will be an interesting discussion this morning.
Safasa pelisizo simnyama Iwasafa isizo saba Yamula mo.
All right, while we wait for the call to go through to Mr. Nkaudumaki, I'd love to create a background. The Yoruba race is politically very peculiar. In Nigeria, the Southwest, when I say Yoruba race, I'm also talking about the Southwest. Keeping in mind those parts of Kwara, Kogi, and Edo states that we have Mr. Nkaudumaki. Hello, good morning.
Call me in about 3 minutes. I'm just coming out of the gate.
Okay, Mr. Nkaudumaki will have us call him in another 3 minutes. The Yoruba race is very peculiar. It prides itself as Nigeria's most educated group. It prides itself as the most politically savvy. But recent experience has shown that the Yoruba race is less politically savvy than those from the north. A lot of the times, the Yoruba race have been outsmarted and outplayed. Politics is a chess game. And if you're not skilled at playing it, you can lose out very quickly. Because the one who is better than you gives you an impression that you are excellent, and then he begins to play and he sets you up for failure until at the dying minute when you cannot help yourself out of the corner that you have been pushed into. He drops the final play, and that will be the end of the game for you. The division among key Yoruba actors is very deep. And Ayo Adebanjo in Lagos will tell you that a Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and Olusegun Oshoba are betrayals of the Yoruba race. There are too many philosophers, so it appears, within the Yoruba extraction of Nigeria. One pontificates, the other one hits at him. The Yoruba race appears to be a race that is consistently at war within itself. It is a story of betrayals and reprisal betrayals. Go back to the First Republic and bring it down to even now. Obafemi Awolowo is venerated like the eternal leader of the Yoruba race, at least in the contemporary history of Nigeria. But you remember that when he was alive, he had his own fair share of antagonism from within his own people. That Obafemi Awolowo lost presidential elections more than once also boiled down to the fact that there were people within the Yoruba race that undid him. A lot of the prominent Yoruba actors have submitted to the feudal lords for pecuniary gains. And correctness, have abandoned what appears to be the dream of the Yorubas, the Yoruba agenda, as some will call it, over time. There is a revival of political mercantilists, democratic profiteers, and friends of submergionists and aggressors from outside the space of the Yorubas. Accusations and counter-accusations never stop. For cheap political capital gain, an average Yoruba politician will betray the cause of his people. They will come out in the day and identify with the Yoruba agenda, and then at night they will go to wine and dine with those that they call the oppressors of the Yoruba people. Historical revisionism is the order of the day in the Southwest. That is why you have people who will come and make an attempt to revise how Ilori fell to the Fulanese, and how till today that part of a once Yoruba land is still disputed. You recall in year 2000, when the then General Muhammadu Buhari paid a visit to the then Governor Lam Adesina of Oyo State. It was at the height of the herders farmers crisis in Okiogun. You remember that popular statement, "Why are your people killing my people?" The Yoruba story is deep, but Yorubas are quick to talk, slow to action. And when they want to act, they make a lot of noise that they are easily predictable. Politics is complicated. They say only the smart can play it and win. And to be smart, you don't need to be educated. That is why you find it that street urchins, they become very critical players in the political game, because they know the streets, they know the language of the people. And that is why politicians court them. Local government, state government, federal government. I'll try to get Mr. Yinka Odumaki. He gave me 3 minutes to call. I've given him 5 minutes, and then we can set the ball rolling. I'll be back in a moment. All right, thank you for staying with me. And I have on the phone now the Publicity Secretary of AKINRINDE, joining me live on telephone from Lagos, Mr. Yinka Odumaki. Mr. Odumaki, good morning.
Yes.
And thank you for joining me on the podium.
All right, thank you.
All right, let's start from the point of the recent crisis in Ibarakba or your state. What is Afenifere?
We will not do it. But if we do it, we know that there are consequences. So we don't accept what they have done. And we saw the righteous indignation of people like Sunday Igboho and the rest of them. Though we assist to him to take this easy in the interest of law and order. But what the people are doing is criminal, heinous, barbaric, and unacceptable.
You called Sunday Igboho's reaction a righteous indignation. Does this mean that the Afenifere endorses the actions of Sunday Igboho from the point of giving an ultimatum and then following up with that threat?
Well, clearly, we cannot endorse these invaders to be killing people with reckless abandon. And we said that no, that's okay with us. Cannot be.
Okay, does that mean you have not answered me, Mr. Odumake? The Afenifere endorsed Sunday Igboho's action?
For every action, there's always a reaction. Our people have been too tolerant, too peaceful, too in the interest of peace. They have allowed this to go on for long. People collecting ransom on our land. You had how they have paid to the charity and ransom. Where is that done? Can we go there to their own land and be doing that? What will not do to others, no one will do to us.
So if the Afenifere supported Sunday Igboho because you said for every action there is a reaction. Now, Afenifere is a body that supposedly extols the ethos of Omoluabi. Would you describe Igboho as an Omoluabi going by his antecedents? Or do we just make reference to the Omoluabi ethos by what is convenient for us?
Look, it's not what is convenient. Is there any law that says somebody can come on the land and be killing your people? Should we accept killing our people? No. That's the righteous indignation that we support of. It's not about the person of Sunday Igboho. It's about that you cannot come on my land and be killing my people without doing anything to you. Out of wickedness, recklessness, it's not acceptable at all.
But do you fight lawlessness with lawlessness? Because are we not laying a dangerous precedent?
There should not be lawlessness in the first place. You are talking about fighting lawlessness with lawlessness. There should not be lawlessness. Lawlessness should not be permitted in the first place, which the Nigerian government has been doing for many years and for all the crimes been committing across the land, not only in the state. Look at those states. Look at the leader of Afenifere. They killed his daughter almost 2 years ago. And Oba was killed on the streets. Hello? Yeah?
I'm with you, Mr. Odumake.
I said, Funke Olakun, the daughter of Afenifere, was killed on the street. Olufon, a first class of an was killed on the street in the afternoon. What have we done to them? Olufon was kidnapped.
Mr. Odumake, you are an active player in the political space.
Yes.
There have been arguments that Sunday Igboho is being used by some politicians to gain political capital. And considering his sudden activism, do you also not think that there is a political dimension to this? There is something opportunistic about this sudden interest? Because the Ibarakba issue did not start yesterday.
Then you must say that there was political killings. There are some political forces are also sponsoring SMNT to go and kill our people, to create crisis.
But the Oyo State governor,
we can't talk about Sunday Igboho in this matter without people who have been killing our people, kidnapping our people, raping our women.
But
talk about them.
The Oyo State governor, in his broadcast prior to that Friday expulsion of Fulanis in Igogo, said you cannot put an ethnic coloration to crime. A crime is a crime. The governor was, in other words, saying that, look, you just saying it's Fulani headsmen may not be entirely correct. And you know, recently some arrests done by the police also revealed that some Yorubas were arrested. They were involved in the kidnappings in that axis. Does this still not cast a doubt on this general use of Fulani headsmen?
There's no doubt that these criminals with a lot of money may also have their resolve to recruit on local collaborators. The government will be right in that. But there's nobody, the Fulani is a decent man in Nigeria. There's nobody who does not know the Fulani man. The Fulani man knows himself. A Fulani man is different with man, it's different with Yoruba man, it's different from Hausa man. A Fulani man is special, they are special, they are like Arabs. People know them.
Now, considering that we have some Yorubas who are involved in this crime, as arrests have proven, should we not tone down the use of the phrase Fulani headsmen?
No, we cannot stop that.
But we cannot call everybody Fulani headsmen if you have Yorubas.
The Fulani men are the main perpetrators of this crime. We cannot leave them out. All the four people who are arrested, who have been tried now for Puke or Lakunesi murder, they are Fulani people. People here may tell official. Those who are arrested civilized, they said in court that they are Fulani men. How can we stop talking about that? To please the Fulani because they have Fulani president? No.
I'm saying, but those ones some of those that were arrested in Okeogu, Ibarakpa axis, we have Yorubas among them.
Well, if they are Yoruba,
should we not just call criminals criminals?
No. These are not just criminals. This is a crime being led by the Fulani.
Is every Fulani headsman a criminal?
No. Not. We have not said that there's all of them are criminals. Most of them who are here now. No, we have lived them for decades. They didn't come in as criminals. But the Fulani who have come into our land in recent years to Yoruba land, they are criminals who are committing crimes. They have surrounded us and they are committing crimes on the limit.
Okay, now beyond the media engagement, Mr. Yinka Odumake, now as an umbrella body for the Yoruba race, what specifically has Afenifere done over time? Because a lot of the time when these killings happen, the Afenifere comes to the press and makes a lot of pointed statements. But then, what's in terms of local solutions as the Afenifere embarked upon to ensure that these killings and kidnappings stop in the region?
You know, Afenifere were major players. In the 2014 National Conference. We have resolved this matter by saying that ranching should be the solution. You cannot be free open grazing of cattle everywhere. We all send that report, all the delegates. Until President Buhari came and said that we will not look at the report and keep it in the archives. If you had implemented that report, we will have found solution to this headsman thing. But not present that report as a president, and this government in particular, as a president. Look at when the governor gave a law order. Don't live in our forest reserves. It was Garba Shehu who talked to the president, who told the headsman that ignore him can go ahead. Are they animals? These are human beings. It says they are fellow Nigerians. To now have the right of animals to go and live in the forest. And the federal government is encouraging them. That's what causes the problem.
Is Afenifere restricted to only the solutions preferred at the confab? Do you have any means of rallying the federal legislators from this region? Do they respect the Afenifere?
They respect nobody. The only person they respect is their patron.
Is that not a failure of Afenifere? If you call yourself an umbrella body of the Yoruba race, and your children do not listen to you, if you have children and they do not listen to you,
not our children.
I'm talking about the federal legislators from this side of the country, the southwest, regardless of the party, because Afenifere is supposed to be an inter-party organization, right? Because the focus is mainly Yoruba, not any political party, I believe.
We are a pan-Yoruba organization.
Fine. Do you rally them? Do you rally the federal legislators? Do you?
Well, the federal legislators, what powers do they have when the commander in chief and it's protecting the media land? Have you not forgotten that in January 2018, the day media land killed 78 people in Benue? Mr. President invited the governor of Benue State and said, Mr. Governor, go and learn how to live in peace with your neighbor. That happened. After the killed 78 people, has any media channel been brought to book for the killing of the 78 people one day? 78 on a New Year day.
Okay, Mr. Dumaki. Now, this is my focus.
Yeah.
In the absence of the president implementing the resolutions of the 2014 confab, the National Assembly is a structure, all right, or a system that can also push laws or pass resolutions. Okay. Now, if the federal legislators from this side of the country make repeated cases in the house or in the two houses for this reason, maybe there would be some discussions. And what I want to know is, Afenifere as a pan-Yoruba group and the umbrella body for this Southwest, do you have any influence over the federal legislators?
In the ninth National Assembly.
In the National Assembly?
Yes, we visited the Senate, we visited the House of Reps. We canvassed for this thing. Even that ninth National Assembly was a bit semi-independent. Not this one. When this one came, the Deputy Senate President frustrated for Buhari. The Senate President said that anything Buhari brings to the country. Nothing has happened. Okay.
In case you're just joining the program is the Podium, and I'm speaking with the Publicity Secretary of Afenifere, Mr. Yinka Odumaki. Mr. Odumaki, let's talk about your press releases. They are usually very swift and blunt. And because of the swiftness with which they are put out to the press, one would wonder, are your press releases an outcome of a proper deliberation of Afenifere, or you have the license of the group to speak for them as you wish?
The truth is swift. There's no correlation with the truth. When you want to lie, or when you are not sure of your position, that you need to speak here and there for both sides of the mouth. Because Afenifere is the truth, I'm panel in the truth. That's why our statements are blunt, straightforward.
Do you deliberate?
We discuss our statement. We have never withdrawn a statement to say we made a mistake.
I know you've never withdrawn, Mr. Odumaki, but do you deliberate? Is there a way when an event occurs before the press release comes? Do you deliberate? Because when the Arewa Consultative Forum releases,
why don't we deliberate? When we kill people and they claim them for killing people, you go and ask them, are we deliberated? Have we ever made the kind of statement, the kind of social statement that ACM and other programs are making? We don't, because we care about the health of the country.
No, the essence of the question is to understand if the press releases are a product of very deep deliberations, because an event happens and Afenifere is very quick to come to the press, and then you've had your critics. You've had your critics say before the Arewa.
If you kill our people, should you go and writing poems? Which condemn feelings? There are manifest injustices being done in Nigeria that we have positions on that are very clear. That this is acceptable. This is not to run in human society. We are human beings. We are different human beings with different pedigrees, and it's not difficult for us to respond to some of the criminalities that are going on, that are being sponsored, that are being permitted by the government.
I interviewed Chief Ayo Adebanjo, pardon. I interviewed him last September.
Yes.
And I asked him about what the Yoruba is doing to unite the different parts that had broken away. You have the Afenifere Renewal Group, you have all sorts. And it does appear that the Yoruba is rarely a united front. What is being done to, first of all, unite this broken house before you can present a united front to the country?
There's no broken house. Other the fact that there are different organizations. Yoruba say that we can't all sleep and put our heads in the same direction. We recognize the right to existence of these different organizations, but when you hold your fingers to our faces, we shoot young boys.
How does the leadership of Afenifere emerge? The ONS recently had an election, an open election where its leaders were elected. Is Afenifere democratic?
We're democratic.
How?
We back the essence of democracy.
How did the present leaders emerge? Was there an election or was it by appointment?
Of course. There are ways, internal ways of democracy to have answer.
Tell us about it. How did you emerge the publicity secretary?
Eh?
How did you emerge the publicity secretary? Were you appointed? Were you voted? Because it's a question people ask, that if Afenifere is fighting, says it is fighting for democracy, then its own process of democracy is shrouded in mystery. People do not know. Ohaneze had an open election.
You've not tried to find out. You are just assuming.
That's why I'm asking, Mr. Odumaki.
As a journalist, you should come to the organization, come and do interviews. Even when there's a process for selection or election, you can witness and participate, not just forming opinion in your field.
Okay, how does the Afenifere do it?
We do it whether use consensus or elections, either depending on the situation.
So was it by consensus that the present leadership emerged?
It's consensus not democracy. Or it's only when you invite INEX to go and conduct the election that you have done the election.
Of course not.
No.
Now let's talk about your members.
Yes.
Chief Femi Fani-Kayode served in the Obasanjo government. There was a time he was hitting very hard on Afenifere because Afenifere was perceived as an enemy of the Obasanjo government.
Yeah.
Professor Wole Soyinka would talk and Femi Fani-Kayode would fire arrows of very terrible words at him. Today, Femi Fani-Kayode appears to be one of the very potent voices from the side of the Afenifere. He says he is Afenifere. You have a Mimiko who has traversed different political parties as part of Afenifere. Now, what you find is that you have a lot of people whose ideological leanings cannot be pinned down. And then the question, even you were in the CPC at some point, you were Buhari's spokesperson until 2011. What qualifies someone to be a member of Afenifere? Is there a unifying ideology that allows you to be a member of Afenifere?
In substitution to the Afenifere ethos is very important. You must be progressive. And the Buhari that you mentioned in 2011, I was in Buhari campaign because of Pastor Philip Bakari was running me, who was an attitude, not because of Buhari. I never knew Buhari as a person on the other side.
Oh, okay, that answers my question. Is Femi Fani-Kayode a progressive?
Well, he expressed progressive views. He stands with progressive family. And how do you say I should reject Fani-Kayode when I have an identified Kaduna as the governor who will justify the killings of his own people Kaduna by foreign Fulani?
Is it?
I say that I should reject Fani-Kayode whose views are progressive values.
Is it not the case that the Afenifere overlooks your sins and your failures? Once you come into that fold and you agree with whatever they want to push, including the subject of restructuring, knowing that Femi Fani-Kayode was a prominent player in a government that didn't think restructuring was needed? Or is it just that the Afenifere gathers politicians who would say something different when they were in power and another thing when they are out of power?
Human beings are not static all their life. Positions do change the positions. It's only when you are dead that you are already filing your final testament.
Okay, let's look at this angle too. The Afenifere, as we know it, seems to always take a stand against any party that has Tinubu as a prominent player post 2003. You are known to have personal issues with Tinubu.
Yes.
Is it likely that you sold an anti-Tinubu agenda to the Afenifere? Or is it that the Afenifere as a body does not like Tinubu?
Afenifere brought Tinubu out in 1999. At the point, Tinubu fell out with Afenifere and has never, since he fell out with Afenifere, openly identified with Afenifere. When the letter of actuality was killed in Akure, Tinubu came to Akure and said, "Oh, poor Afenifere," in fashion of his house, and said, "Oh, people said it was by the place, where are the cows? Did you not find the cows and the owners? I did not retire now. Be fair to us. Don't judge one side and be taking position on us without looking at both sides."
So the issue between Afenifere and Tinubu is an issue that can't be resolved, even in the interest of the Yoruba race.
Well, if he puts Yoruba race first and not personal interest against us, because we stand for Yoruba interest all the time. If we put Yoruba interest first, why not? Can be resolved.
Is it not because some key persons in Afenifere felt Tinubu betrayed them in 2003 that this issue is still ongoing?
No, Tinubu knows what to do. If he does the right thing, why not?
What is the right thing? He should go and apologize to Ayo Adebanjo.
When Buhari and people were skinning alive, was it not Ayo Adebanjo that came out defending him openly? That you cannot do this to the man that gave you power.
So
we are fair-minded people. We are not sacrificed. We are not people. And we are not people who do anything for money, just got money.
But if by 2023 Tinubu is the bearer of the Yoruba hope to reclaim the presidency, will the Afenifere support him? Will you put your differences aside?
No, it should be on certain conditions. It should be on accepting the things we want. We have this is what we are in politics.
What will be the conditions?
We must accept the structuring of Nigeria. There must be serious commitment, not just deception. Like Buhari and APC did in 2015. Say, "Oh, we will do the structuring." Immediately ago, they said they don't know the meaning of the structuring. So
restructuring will be the major condition given to Tinubu.
It will be one of the major conditions.
And if he doesn't agree, you won't support him.
Why should we support anybody who think we should continue what we are?
But let me ask you, does any Yoruba politician actually need Afenifere, considering the body was demystified in 2003?
To reach the elections.
But whatever it is, the Supreme Court said the election was valid.
Which court?
Has the Afenifere supported any politician, any major politician to win an election since 2003?
I've been holding incredible elections.
Hello?
Have you been holding credible elections?
But the courts have validated almost every election.
Because I think we elected so many candidates that in some elections where they made the number 4 candidate the number 1.
So are you saying that if elections were credible in the Southwest, whoever Afenifere does not support will not win election in the Southwest? Is Afenifere still that politically relevant? Politically relevant?
In 1999, we won in 100%.
21 years ago.
Huh?
That was a long time ago. 21 years ago.
When last year election?
So the Afenifere is still politically potent. Is that what you're saying?
Of course.
Okay, before we round off, let me ask this. Will the Afenifere support the call for Oduduwa Republic? If it comes to that, do you stand for it?
We have not come out to advocate secession. But you don't understand why a lot of people today are feeling that they want out of Nigeria. We are still appealing to them, but it cannot be forever. It cannot be continue to do what we are doing to do the work in Nigeria to every other destination, and you think that they will continue to take it forever. So the way to prevent Nigeria from breaking up is to do justice and allow equity to reign.
But if it comes to that, the Afenifere will support the aspiration of the people, right?
If it is not so far, we're not being against that now. Even the United Nations won't recognize the right self-determination.
But considering the deep division within the Yoruba people themselves, even if that secession happens, are we not likely to have another Yugoslavia?
Well, don't forget that the Yoruba they are the most homogeneous people in Nigeria. The Yoruba live together, whatever differences we pass. Best form of government under the regional arrangement and do it again.
But even with the homogeneity within the Afenifere, you had a time when there was an issue about the Ijebu. Was it the Ijebu 3 or the Ijebu 4? Some other parts of Yoruba within the body said the Ijebus were trying to control the Afenifere. You don't see that happening, even if you have, with all of the touted homogeneity. You don't assume we'll have a situation where somebody from Abeokuta will say, oh, the Ibados are too powerful within this state, and then the Jebus, because they have a history of political control, they want to take charge of everything. You don't think that could be?
That's not perfect. But we have a way of managing our internal differences. Before our came up, there was free universal education program. Don't forget that before Awolowo came on the scene, the issue of Yoruba was the issue of wars. Jebu fighting this one, that one fighting that one, fighting this and the rest of them. But our came and brought higher ideas that people fight for. Brought Cocoa House, brought all kind of things. People get to them, they look at the same reading, they have aspirations. Higher ideas to prevail over policy division and borders. It's because the politicians are not big trips now. That's why people are fighting over small things. Like I don't do about Ibadan. Against this and the rest.
All right. We're drawing close to the end of the interview now, and you are a member of Pastor Tunde Bakari's church. You joined the Buhari campaign, according to you, because of Pastor Tunde Bakari.
Yes.
Recently, you had differences over the remarks of Pastor Bakari on Tinubu, and you took the pastor to the cleaners. Your statement was very strong. Are there political issues between both of you?
Well, because we are normal human beings with same capacity. If you have a friend and you both agree on all issues, one of you is unnecessary. Where that judgment goes, we have resolved it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that explains your issue with Tunde Bakari.
We have resolved it.
Are you going to support him? He said he's number 16.
Eh?
He said he is number 16. He said Buhari is 15, he is number 16. Will you be supporting Tunde Bakari's presidential bid if he came out in 2023?
23. And the elections are 2 years away. We'll take the decision time.
You have not made up your mind.
How can you make a election on 2 years ago?
But he's your friend. You once followed him to CPC. Maybe you still remain faithful to that bond.
When the time comes, he comes out with programs. As a group, we look at it. If he just, he's a competent man, why not?
On a final note, Mr. Dumaki,
yeah.
People who don't like you, they said, your critics, they said nobody knows exactly what you're doing. Maybe you are bankrolled by some politicians, depending on where your interests are protected. What does Yinka Odumaki do for a living?
Anybody here? I have a radio station about it where you are. I'm an affair of labor. But people can talk anything with their mouth. One something and another one, not them and people.
I want to thank you, Mr. Odumaki, for obliging this morning. I do hope that when we call you next time, you will grant us the time to speak with you again. Yinka Odumaki is the publicity secretary of the Afenifere, and that was my interview with him this morning. I'll be going on a commercial break. When I come back, Honorable Femi Josiah, Special Assistant on Community Relations to the Governor of Oyo State, will be my guest. We shall be discussing security and other related issues at the grassroots in Oyo State. Please don't go anywhere.
FM 94.9.
Breakfast your day every day with the nourishment of malt, milk and cocoa and the delicious taste of Milo.
Nestle, good food, good life.
àṣì àṣálẹ̀ wẹ̀jẹ̀wẹ̀mú ọlọ́dọọdún àtàlétalẹ̀ tìlú Ìbàdàn ẹ bá wa dámúso. ayẹyẹ lẹ́ẹ̀kan lọ́dún rú ẹ̀ tí àgbáríjọpọ̀ gbogbo àwọn olókòwò ilé àtilẹ̀ nílùú Ìbàdàn tún ti kó ẹ wá ẹ jẹ́ kájọ ṣàjọyọ̀ ìgbòòrò okòwò títa létalẹ̀ nílùú Ìbàdàn. bákan náà ni fífarakínra àti jíjíròrò pẹ̀lú gbogbo àwọn làmìlaka lẹ́nu iṣẹ́ yìí ó wáyé lọ́jọ́ 13 oṣù kejì ọdún 2021 ní gbọ̀ngàn Titan Farms House New Garage ládojúkọ Motor Dealers Mart nílùú Ìbàdàn. ọ̀fẹ́ ni tíkẹ́ẹ̀tì wọlé o ẹ máa lọ sí ọ́fíìsì 32 FM bákan náà Titan Farms lẹ́lẹ́bùnlẹ̀ Ìbàdàn Al-Ere Hotel and Suites láti gba tíkẹ́ẹ̀tì ọ̀fẹ́ yín. Titan Farm ló so nígbọ̀wọ́ ayẹyẹ yìí. àgbáríjọpọ̀ oníṣòwò talétalẹ̀ tìlú Ìbàdàn àgbájọwọ́ la fi ń sọ̀yà.
Having one stream of income is like putting all your eggs in one basket. To therefore build and accumulate wealth with peace of mind, you're enjoined to secure your future financially with You First Global Investment, a company that provides a variety of services to assist individuals or businesses to accumulate wealth or increase associated wealth. Through discipline and target savings and investment, you can key into our different registered plans like easy access, children education, fixed deposit, and others with a minimum of 12 months and maximum of 9 to 18 years. You're good to go. You just link up with us on all our social media platforms. IG at you_first, Facebook at You Global Investment Limited, Twitter at YouFirst_Limited, website youfirstglobal.com, or better still visit 22 3rd floor Rational Building behind Femi Johnson, Okebola, Ibadan. Telephone 0815 035 7844. You First, putting you first.
Mọ ohun tó ń ṣẹlẹ̀ ní àyíká rẹ nípasẹ̀ ìròyìn BBC ní Yorùbá. Nítorí kí o tó lè tayọ, o ní láti mọ̀ ọ́n. Ní ìmísí pẹ̀lú àwọn oríṣiríṣi ìròyìn láti ibi àti káàkiri àgbáyé. Nígbà tí o bá ní ìmọ̀ nípa ohun tó ń lọ ní àgbáyé, o lè ṣe ohunkóhun. Mọ ohun tó ń ṣẹlẹ̀ ní àyíká rẹ. Wá BBC News Yorùbá kàn.
Ovest Korede Ovest 21 million investment package. Ìwọ náà darapọ̀ mọ́ àwọn mílíọ̀nìyà tọ́lọ́ ń yàn lọ́dún 2021. Wọ́n gba ara rẹ̀ ọ̀rẹ́ wa o. Ovest 21 million mọ̀mọ́dé kò máa gbà. Ìwọ náà rán owó rẹ̀ níṣẹ́ kó o sì gèrè gọbọi láàrin oṣù 6 sí 11. Iléeṣẹ́ All Source Empire ló ṣètò Ovest. Àárín ọjọ́ kìíní oṣù kìíní sí ọjọ́ 21 oṣù kìíní ọdún 2021. 1 to 31 January 2021 ni àǹfààní wà fún ọ láti fi owó rẹ̀ dókòwò kó o sì gèrè gọbọi. Àwọn ètò ìdókòwò míì náà tún wà pẹ̀lú iléeṣẹ́ Ovest tí ó ṣe ọ́ láǹfààní pé 0703 840 6891 6891 lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí 0703 840 6891 tàbí kàn sí wọn ní number 1 Májàrọ̀ street Àjíbádé bus stop Mọ́kọ́lá nílùú Ìbàdàn tàbí kàn sí wẹ́bsáìtì wọn www.ovest.ng. Ovest fọ́ọ̀kan pọ̀ ràn owó níṣẹ́ kó o jèrè gọbọi.
Safa sapeli sizo simnyama Iwasafa Isizo saba Yamula mo Alijani mko
All right, thank you for staying with me. The program is the Podium. Okay, before I bring Honorable Femi Josiah, because I say I have 1 hour on the program, I can take 2 or 3 reactions. 2 or 3 reactions to that interview with Mr. Yinka Odumaki. I'm sure he's still listening to me so that he can hear reactions. 090 62949 and 080 97949. 090 62949 080 97949. Those are the numbers to call. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, my name is Olumide Ibitwe.
Okay, you have 1 minute to react.
I'm calling from UI.
Go ahead.
When listening to what Uncle Yinka said, there still have one thing in me that there is no proper unity between the Yorubas. That is no, we don't have it. We have our header say different things at a particular time, which is not go well with us. No, there's no way we can belong to the same school of thought, but the percentage should be higher of those that believe in the right thing and do the right thing. I want to say this again. Sunday Igboho have gone through what we call PGP, private government participation. And if Sunday Igboho donated money to government in the now, that is this 20 billion to fight the policy, people they were applauding, clap for him. It's a nice man. But he has volunteered himself to fight for the cause of the Yoruba. And people who are criticizing him is not constitutional. Do we know what they even call constitution? So it's rising up, it's good enough for us. It's just for the government to accept and to concur and to work with him. Because he's the only voice speaking in the wilderness. God bless Nigeria.
Okay, the only voice speaking in the wilderness. That is Sunday Igboho. There's a smirk on the face of Honorable Femi Josiah. Okay, let me take 1 or 2 more calls. 090622949 and 080970949. Reactions to that interview with Mr. Yinka Odumaki of Afenifere. Let's see if we can take 090622949 and 080970949.
Good morning. My name is Umabwezi. I'm calling from Ogun State.
Okay, thank you for calling. Go ahead.
This Mr. Sunday now we're talking about, I think for me he's doing a good job. Since the government have refused to fight for the people, and they've created the space, just like what they created in my place in Southeast, and Nandekalu came in and people followed him. So I think he's doing the right thing. And it was the government that gave him the opportunity, and he's using it now. And secondly, the Fulani we're talking about, the cows they are using, as in like if an Igbo man now, if I want to rent a shop, if I want to sell my market, I go and open a shop. If I'm a farmer, I go and rent a land. But you see, it's called that the Hausa Fulani people, they don't rent apartments just like we rent. Are we not Nigerian? If you're not, then you show us where we belong. Because it's not fair. They're not showing one Nigeria, oneness. Even the law agency are not helping the matter. They are even giving us headache. But when they see the Hausa Fulani with their car on the cities, on the major roads, they don't disturb them. Is that the way to go?
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. I wrote something on Facebook last week. I said Igbohoism is an emerging pattern and ethnic philosophy. Watch it. It is not going away anytime soon. This is like a fly on the scrotum. You must exercise caution in killing it, else you bust the sack. Is it not just normal that when the state as an institution fails in its responsibilities to its people, events will throw up new heroes and martyrs that will champion the liberation of the long-suffering masses? Knowing that nature abhors vacuum, there must be someone that the people look up to as a hope of salvation when authorities and institutions of the state seem to have collapsed. This explains why men like Sunday Igbo will attain and sustain cult hero status. Many of such men will arise in the coming period across ethnic nationalities. Self-determination will have a stronger tune to its eerily sung music, and then anarchy will prepare its wings for a great flight, with its talons settling on the crest of the nation. Issue the threats, muster the heavily kitted assault merchants. In fact, unleash the contractors of death and arrest as many as you can. Once the fire is lit, it never truly goes out. Will the state rise above its own parochialism and act? Time will tell. I have Honorable Femi Josiah, Special Assistant Community Relations to the Oyo State Governor, on the podium this morning. Honorable Femi Josiah, you're welcome to the podium.
Good morning, Shell.
Let us start off with this. Insecurity in Oyo State has deepened in the last 1 year. Is the government losing control?
Not at all. Insecurity has not only deepened in Oyo State, it has deepened in the entire federation called Nigeria. Don't forget that Oyo State has a peculiarity in the geographical space called Nigeria. Oyo State is a border state that has a large and extended range of forest, unlike Lagos that has a border too with Benin Republic. Ogun State equally have that long range of forest, and that is why both states, if you look at it geographically, are exposed to the easy penetration of marauders. We have an immigration policy in Nigeria. The immigration agency is a security agency that's supposed to control the inflow and outflow of people through our borders, be it land, sea, or air. They have to do their job. The issue on ground is being misconstrued. We have the issue of farmers-elders conflict. It is separate from the issue of banditry, kidnapping, armed robbery. The only common factor is the majority of the people committing these crimes belong to an ethnic nationality, the Fulani clan. So it is easy for people to now assume that the farmer elders clash is the same thing as banditry and others.
It has included kidnapping.
And we need to separate issues.
Okay.
What we had way back for years, more than 50 years now, the farmers and elders have been having clashes. And the government have been managing the clashes. We have had some measure of peace. The traditional rulers have been managing the clashes. This banditry got to the peak about 5 years ago when President Muhammadu Buhari came to power. He is the commander-in-chief of security forces. So if people are going to put blame on people to accept responsibility, they should apportion the blames properly. A governor does not have a troop to command. The president commands the troops. And that is the reason that some of us who are politicians have been telling ourselves that let us look at the architecture of Nigeria. Let us restructure it. It is the people that are blaming the governors today that will be asking us questions. What do you people mean by restructuring? If you give a governor power, he cannot appoint a commissioner of police. He cannot control his border. And just a year ago, the Southwest governor, as a response to the security threat that penetrated the region, came up with a lofty agenda. Western Nigeria Security Network, Amotekun. I ask you today, does Amotekun enjoy the total support of the Yoruba nation? I put it to you, Seun. I need an answer from you as a journalist.
I mean, I can't say specifically, but it comes in different shades.
You need to answer me because
it comes in different shades, because you're also going to ask if the Amotekun has helped its own cause.
We are going to get there.
Okay,
you must answer my question first.
Right, that's what I said. It comes in different shades. It comes in different shades. I mean, now when they came initially, the enthusiasm was very high. People were very happy. Amotekun is here. Amotekun is
How old is Amotekun?
Until you started killing people.
Killing criminals or innocent people.
No. There was a case.
We are going to get there. We're going to get there.
Okay.
But you have to answer my question. Does Amotekun as an entity of government, because we have a legitimacy problem with certain expressions of people. If you voting people to power, you must hold them accountable. You must support their initiatives. If they now come out with agenda and you are not supporting those agenda and you are still blaming them, because let me tell you, Nigeria as a country has a problem. We all agreed. If Nigeria does not have a problem, if the Nigerian security forces are up and doing, there is no need for an Amotekun. The governors in their wisdom, with the support of the traditional rulers, I was at the launching of Amotekun. Oluisha, the famous Yoruba monarch, was at the launch. So many Yoruba leaders were there. And what does Amotekun entail? People in Amotekun are traditional hunters, vigilante volunteers, OPC men. These are tested warriors, people that all their life they understand the rural terrain, they understand the forest. How much support does this agency get from the people that put the government in place? We need, because the government.
Are you blaming the people?
I'm not blaming the Listen, I'm not blaming
the governor to secure the state.
No. Don't get me wrong. I'm not blaming the people. But don't forget that government does not exist in isolation. The people put the government in place. The people must support the government. Are you getting what I'm saying?
Did the people support Amotekun at the start or not?
My brother.
The excitement was, in fact, when the federal government was trying to shoot down Amotekun, the people of the West spoke in a united voice. And they said, look, this Amotekun has come to stay.
So I want to ask you a question. How many months ago was Amotekun commissioned in Oyo State?
Just about 3 months ago.
November precisely. There was a process. Amotekun was established as a security network. Coronavirus came.
It had come before Amotekun. Coronavirus was officially launched.
Coronavirus came here in March 2020.
I'm talking about before Amotekun was launched.
Amotekun was launched. Listen to me. Amotekun was launched in January. Coronavirus came in March. For like 6 months, people could not assemble the way we used to live. Amotekun could not even recruit properly.
But they started operations in November.
in November.
And they were
now. Let me now tell you the success of Amateku that you, the media people, fail to report. That will now bring people making reckless eviction notice ultimatum to others. In November, the Amateku was commissioned in Oyo. As of 2nd of January this year, Amateku invaded the forest where these kidnappers and bandits are operating. Amateku, with the help of local hunters and vigilantes, arrested 51 suspects, and there were casualties. But the media reported it as a face-off between herdsmen and Amateku. All of you in the media, you did not report that success of Amateku. You should invite the police and ask them that this claim that the government of Oyo State is making, how valid are the claims? You don't have to believe what we tell you, but when we say something, investigate, confirm. Because it's a reply to your question that is it not the failure of the government of Oyo State?
Whose responsibility is it to secure the state?
It's the responsibility of all of us.
No.
I will explain it to you.
Oh, hold on. All of us are not the chief security officers of the state.
Let me explain.
Who is the chief security officer of the state?
By law, it's the governor of the state.
The governor of the state.
Yes.
Now, whose responsibility is it then to ensure the security of lives and property?
It starts with the governor.
Starts with the governor.
Yes.
Now, if insecurity is worsening, I mean, if it's getting bad, really bad in the state, then whose responsibility is it? At whose buck does at whose table rather does that buck stop?
It stops at the governor's table.
So why are we trying to absolve the governor?
I'm only creating an awareness because you spoke as if nothing is being done.
But if people are being robbed, if people are being killed, then it's only that nothing has been done.
Since that operation that I mentioned happened, have you gotten any reported case of kidnapping or banditry?
It was after then that Igbo came. No, because I can tell you that
you have to answer my question.
I will tell you that incident. I will answer you.
Have you experienced?
I will answer you. 2 weeks ago, when I interviewed the Amoteku commandant, I told him here. I told him and I asked him. Now, in fact, 2 days before his interview with me, now the news broke of a woman who was coming from our farm that was attacked, whose head was pieces. In that same axis. Indigens still insist that killings, surreptitious killings, still happen on the farmlands.
When?
And that was what instigated a Sunday Igbo to come forth, because we should still get to that point.
Wait a minute. If you are making a statement, you need to validate that statement. I'm telling you right here and now, since Amateku invaded the forest of Ibarapa and Okeogun, have you had a reported case of banditry?
Why then did it? Well, not just banditry, there are kidnappings. I told you about the woman who was killed. A woman who was killed 2 days before Amateku commandant was in my studios here.
Well, I don't know about that.
I told him. I challenged him. Yeah.
I don't know about that.
Now, what am I
saying?
Because
you know why I'm saying this. When you are reporting the shortcoming of the government, you should equally report the successes of the government.
But the news about flushing the forest was in the media.
No, but it was reported wrongly. And the government had to call out. Listen, the government had to call out the media, because issue of security is not something we should politicize. Issue of security is not something we make noise about. Issue of security is a covert operation. The result might be slow, but that does not mean the government is not working. And that is why we are saying that anybody who believes in redeeming the situation should align with recognized legitimate establishment.
But let me ask you, Honorable Josiah, why has it been difficult for the state government to put this issue in the Barakpo axis to rest once and for all?
We are going to do that. You can be rest assured. Because
what you didn't do in 2 years that you are
no, wait a minute. We have not spent 2 years in government.
You're going to be 2 years in May.
The problem you mentioned were the problem created by us.
They were not created by you, but government is a continuum.
Good. Now, what I'm now asking you is that a problem that started how many years ago, it's security issue is not something like you kill like a fly. It's something that has to be strategic. But don't forget.
Okay.
Don't forget that the criminals too are strategic, and they are not faceless. Why the people have to be part of what we are doing is because government does not exist in isolation, and government is not run with emotions. There are laws guiding the activities of government, and there are laws that expect people in communities to be part of the government. Because I am Femi Josiah. I'm right here in your studio now. If something is happening in Apete, for instance, there are people living in Apete. They must see that thing coming. They should not wait for it to happen before they call the people concerned. The governor of Oyo State, after equipping the security agencies with vehicles and telecommunication gadgets, gave out a number 615 for the people that when you see an incident about to happen, be it accident, be it armed robbery, be it, you see, we need to call our people out.
Should we even talk about the vehicles that were given to
I'm coming. We will talk about that. But let me learn, because government and the people have to work together. Communities make up a state. The people must be responsible for their own security. There is a 1987 law that was reviewed in 2012 by HEZEKIAH Idimobi. That law stipulates what the people have to do. That is why we have landlord associations. That is why we have community development council. Are you getting what I'm saying now? The law stipulates that if you have a community development council, landlord association, you must have a vigilante committee in every area. And the law states the people that should be members of that committee, to the extent that a security agent, not below the rank of an inspector, must be the member of that committee. There are CBCs everywhere. There are creations of government. Any area you see crime on the increase, it means the leadership of those communities are not doing their job. Government is comes in stratas. It is not just the governor, you, me, everybody, we are part of the government. So we cannot be saying some people and say they are the government, we are the people. We are all together.
Who collects the security votes?
The state collects the security votes.
The states, it goes to who? The government is in charge of the security votes.
Are you now saying the government is not spending the security votes?
Does the landlord association have access to the security votes?
Are you saying the government is not spending the security votes?
How is it being spent? The money is not even accounted for. You can't even demand accountability.
Why don't you invite the governor and ask him?
You can't even demand accountability.
Listen, you can demand accountability. The law permits you as a media man. You are the only profession in the constitution that has the legal backing to exhibit and expose the activities of government. So if a government is collecting security vote, I challenge you to do your job.
So if we write your government,
you know the government.
If we write your government to demand for details of the security votes that your state government has received from inception, this government, we are going to get it.
To the glory of God, because there is a law that asks you that give you freedom of information.
You are speaking on behalf of the government.
I'm telling you that we get it, my brother.
You are speaking on behalf of the governor.
My brother, there is Freedom of Information Act.
We know there is. Compliance is a different issue.
Then you do the needful. You enforce the law. Enforcement of law. If a governor or a government is not doing the right thing, challenge that government in court. Let us put the law to test.
Okay, Honorable Femi Josiah says we can write the governor, and he's saying Governor Seyi Makinde will be a man that will comply.
What I'm telling you,
Act.
Yeah, that is what I'm saying.
That's what I'm saying. He will comply.
We have a lawful governor.
You have a lawful governor. So we will write.
And it's not just Governor Makinde. Government in Nigeria.
Our focus is even on your state now, because the issue. This is home for us. This is home, and the security issue is boiling here. And we're saying
it's exaggerated about that.
exaggerated.
It's exaggerated.
That people are being robbed.
We are not denying
that
it.
People are being killed.
We are not denying it.
This was exactly the same statement the governor made. He said,
"No, we are not denying it.
It's exaggerated."
I will tell you, it's exaggerated. We are not denying the fact that we have security challenges, but don't make it look as if people can no longer walk on the street of Oyo State. Don't make it look like so. That is the way the media have presented it to the whole world.
If a hotel is raided by armed robbers, if a community is repeatedly visited by armed robbers, can people in that community walk freely without being afraid of the night?
Now, let me ask you a question. I said that societies are governed by law. The law has the role for every member of the society. Until the day we stop seeing ourselves as something different from the government, because you put the government in place. The law put the government in place. You put the government in place through the instrument of the law. And as people, we must test the law. It is very critical. And until we start putting the law to test, I just told you now that any community that can continue to happen on the increase, it is because the leadership of that community are not up and doing. Community Development Council, I relate with them very well. And I told them in the particular meeting that Sazama, there is a law that establishes you. And in that law, I read section 4 of that law, Community Development Committee Law 2012 as amended, gives you power to do certain things. It gives them power to the extent that they can make arrests, to the extent that they can report people with sudden death, to the extent that they can monitor the activities of people in the neighborhood. Because security agencies react on information. And if you are not coming out to provide that information, it is the failure of the system, not just the government. Are you get what I'm saying? Everybody must show responsibility. Everybody must be part of solving problem. Everybody must be part of the solution. That is what we are saying.
Honorable Femi Josiah, the Special Assistant on Community Relations to the Oyo State Governor, is with me on the podium this morning. This conversation will continue right after this commercial break. Please don't go anywhere.
32 FM 94.9.
Breakfast your day every day with the nourishment of malt, milk and cocoa and the delicious taste of Milo.
Nestle, good food, good life.
ìtẹ̀síwájú nínú ìmọ̀ ló ń gbéni dókè téńté láwùjọ. Federal Cooperative College Ìbàdàn ti tẹ́ pẹpẹ ẹ̀kọ́ fún olúkúlùkù láti wá gba tiẹ̀. ó ti pẹ́ tá a ti ṣàgbékalẹ̀ ilé ẹ̀kọ́ Federal Cooperative College tí àwọn akẹ́kọ̀ọ́ bẹ̀ sì ń ṣe dáadáa. bí ìpele ẹ̀kọ́ diploma ṣe wà ní National Diploma àti Higher National Diploma ń bẹ nínú àwọn ẹ̀kọ́ bíi Cooperative Economics and Management, Business Administration, Accounting, Marketing, Computer Science àti bẹ́ẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ. tó o bá sáà ti ní credit 5 nínú English, Maths, Biology tàbí Agric Science àti àwọn iṣẹ́ méjì míì ó kéré tán 2 sitting nínú ìdánwò WAEC, GCE, NECO tàbí NAPTEP á jẹ́ wípé ó ti perégedé láti ní admission sí Federal Cooperative College Ìbàdàn nìyẹn. ètò ìgbaniwọlé sí full time àti part time lọ lọ́wọ́lọ́wọ́. ìwọ sáà ti tètè lọ gba fọ́ọ̀mù tiẹ̀ lónìí ní Federal Cooperative College lẹ́gbẹ̀ẹ́ FAMIC Ẹlẹ́yẹlé Ìbàdàn 08038319232 tàbí 07038853407. Federal Cooperative College Ìbàdàn, ìgbésókè nínú ìmọ̀ ìwé.
Don Landio, my people for challenge Orita, New Garage, Felele, Sonyo, Gorich, Soka, plus include all the neighboring areas them. Living Proof Supermarket, don't tanda gidigba for Felele. Yes, so Living Proof Bakery and Supermarket, where they sell all kind daily needs for manufacturer's price, like a provision, beverages, toiletries, beauty products, and Babanla Orishirishi gift items them. Where we say na manufacturer's products, you go get anything when you buy for Living Proof Supermarket, especially all of una with the balado their sardine bread. Now as it hot and fresh, you go dey enjoy am. To get value for your money, no dey follow leg over again. No, na Living Proof Supermarket make you dey patronize. Them dey opposite mainland filling station, Ologweri Road, Eleyele, and their new outlet with the former Pinnacle building along Challenge Road, Idiodo bus stop, Felele, Ibadan. Them telephone be 080-3545-7120 and be 081-5466-4418. Living Proof Supermarket, na consumer friend.
ó pọ̀ rẹ́kẹrẹ́kẹ́ nílé ìtajà fóònù MD Global Communication wọlé kanlẹ̀ sí yàrá ìtajà wọn kó méyìíkéyìí ẹ̀rọ ìbáraẹnisọ̀rọ̀ tó bá wù ọ́ pẹ̀lú àsansílẹ̀ owó péréte tó sì mọ sàn yòókù ní mọ̀dámọ̀dá. MD Global Communication nìkan ló ti lè ráwọn ojúlówó ẹ̀rọ ìbáraẹnisọ̀rọ̀ bíi iPhone, Samsung, Nokia, Infinix, Tecno àti Itera lówó pọ́kú. Kò sí fóònù tẹ́ra níbẹ̀ tí ò lálòpẹ́ kẹ̀tíkẹ̀tí lè ro yàwọ̀ yàrá ìtajà wọn. Bẹ́ẹ̀ ni kò sì séyìíkéyìí phone accessories tẹ́ wá débẹ̀ tẹ́ ẹ̀ bá. Bàbáńbárí ẹ̀ ní iPhone pẹ̀lú Samsung tuntun àti UK used tó lálòpẹ́ tẹ́ tà lọ́dọ̀ wọn. Wọlé kanlẹ̀ kó mú fóònù kó sì mọ sanwó ẹ̀ díẹ̀díẹ̀ pẹ̀lú ìrọ̀rùn. Kàn sí wọn ní AA Complex nífẹ̀gbẹ́kẹ̀gbẹ́ ọjà Academy along Express Road, Iwo Road, Ìbàdàn. Ẹ̀rọ ìbáraẹnisọ̀rọ̀ wọn 08060688848. MD Global Communication kò pọ̀ kẹ̀ ó pọ̀ rẹ́kẹrẹ́kẹ́.
Okay, Honorable Femi Josiah is on 32 FM, and we are discussing the security crisis in Ibarakwa Okeogo axis. Okay, and then of course looking at security in Oyo State as a whole. Okay. Honorable Josiah.
Yes, sir.
Okay, let them help you with your. Are you good now?
Okay.
Okay, remember you can watch me on YouTube at 32FM 949 Ibadan. At 32FM 949 Ibadan. When it's time to open the phone lines, you call 080 97,949 and 090 62,949. What is the relationship between Governor Seyi Makinde and Sunday Igboho? Do they have a history of working together?
To the best of my knowledge, no.
Sunday Igboho made a cryptic statement in a video that circulated 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
He said, when you wanted to be governor, you guys were taking me around. I was a good guy then. He said, but now that I disagree with you, you guys are seeking my downfall. Was he not talking about Governor Seyi Makinde?
I am not.
Maybe if you situate it in the context.
Why don't you specifically ask Sunday Igboho?
You should know because to
the best of my knowledge, I was in Seyi Makinde's campaign, and I know the people that were there, and I know those that were not there. So if somebody made a statement that he was part of our campaign, and I didn't see him, then to the best of my knowledge, I don't think it is so.
Did you have any contractor of violence in that campaign team?
None at all.
You had an auxiliary. Is auxiliary a gentleman?
Auxiliary, to the best of my knowledge, it's not a violent man.
Auxiliary is not a violent man.
To the best of my knowledge, the auxiliary that I deal with today is not a violent man.
So it was a reformed auxiliary that came to work with Seyi Makinde.
To the best of my knowledge, yes.
What was his role in the campaign?
Auxiliary is a member of our party. So the role he played is the role that every other party members played.
to help you to counter terror that could come from the opposition.
No, but do you have on record that there was violence in our campaign? Do you have it on record? I put it to you now.
So auxiliary is a gentleman.
Let me tell you, I'm a politician. An average politician that is worth his salt must be properly guided, must be prepared for unseen circumstances. I will not go out to aggress people. But if you come to aggress me, I might surprise you. Do you understand?
You surprise how?
Because every man has the right to defend himself. So in political campaign, opponents could bring thugs and so on.
That's why you have to have your own thugs.
No, we don't have to have thugs. You must be your own...
your own thug.
No, you must be your own defender. Any politician...
And then you also have people who should defend you.
Naturally. A campaign, you should expect a lot of things to happen. In your campaign, you might even say things that do not go down well with some people. And they might think the only way they can respond to you is through violence. And don't forget, in campaign, we have security agents around us. The moment somebody becomes a governorship candidate, is given the police, is given the DSS. I'm saying, and that is why immediately a governor leave a campaign grant, you don't expect a sensible party member to remain there. Do you get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So the governorship candidate will go around the state with a security details. So there is no need for thuggery or employment of thugs.
Okay,
for defense.
Now let's go back to this. There have been arguments that Sunday Igboho's sudden activism in Ibarakpa, especially, is because of political interests.
I wouldn't know.
Is that true?
Honestly, I wouldn't know.
What is your own opinion? What do you think of Sunday Igboho's activism? He's fighting for his people. You agree?
Well, to the extent that I've seen him spoke, his expression indicates that he's fighting for his people. But only God knows his true intention.
What do you think of him? You are SA Community Relations. You speak with the governor. You advise the governor. What do you think of Sunday Igboho?
I only assist the governor. I make recommendations.
Of course. You make. So what do you think of Sunday Igboho?
Well, I believe that in as much as people have the right to defend their interest, they should do so within the ambit of the law. You cannot use criminality to solve crime. There are established order on grant by the law to solve problems. If you believe you want to be part of the solution, you cannot be part of the solution in isolation. Because how sustainable will that be? What will be your exit strategy? Because when you start something, you must think of how do you get out of it? How do you end it? So if you start something that you cannot predict the outcome, do you think it's a sensible thing to do for anybody? And that is why government will not sit back and allow anarchy to happen. We want people, as many people as possible, to be part of the solution. But they must do so within the ambit of the law.
Has your government reached out to Sunday Igboho now?
I'm telling you,
is there an attempt to rally him?
Don't personalize issue of security.
Sunday Igboho. Now, whether you like it or not, Sunday Igboho is synonymous with the agitation of Okeogun Ibarakpa people at this moment. In fact,
so are you telling me the people that volunteer themselves to join Amotoki are not synonymous? Because these are registered hunters. I'm coming.
Whether you see, like
don't personalize it, because if you are not personalizing it, it's a great insult to the citizens of Oyo State. Over 1,500 of them that have volunteered themselves, that are entering those bushes.
Let me ask you a question.
Because it's a great insult when you now personalize it on one person.
Honorable Josiah, in the last
so how do you wait a minute? How do you encourage people that have come out to pick from, go through interviews, go through training? You cannot use just one individual to now rubbish the effort of those people. It is not fair. It is inhuman.
Can I ask you a question?
So that is why you cannot personalize it.
Can I ask you
as
a
many
question?
as Sunday Igboho that wants to be part of the solution, let them rally around Amotekun. That is what we are saying.
Can I ask you a question? In the last 2 weeks,
yeah,
who has been the poster boy of this issue? You will agree it is Sunday Igboho.
I will not agree. It is you media people that made it so.
It's the most talked
about. It is you media people that made it so because your report is always one-sided. You are part of the problem. You should be part of the solution.
No,
you are part of the problem because up to today,
part of the solution.
Up to today, all the media houses, the radio, the print that reported the success of Amotekun in Ibarapa and Okiogun as a face-off between herdsmen and Amotekun have not done a retraction of that story.
Honorable Josiah.
No, I'm not done.
I'm
coming, and you have not gone to the police to confirm what we have said. So when you are not personalizing it on one person, it is a great disservice and insult to the people who have volunteered to be part of Amotekun.
Is there an
and
attempt?
That is my position.
Okay, if you're saying people should volunteer and be part of the solution, is there an attempt by the government to bring Sunday Igboho to the table?
Let me tell you, there are people who are natives who are more formidable than the person you are mentioning.
So your government is not bringing Sunday Igboho
If Sunday Igboho wants to be part of the solution, he's welcome.
As the government invited him.
The government will not personalize the issue of security.
As the government invited
My brother,
him.
The government, through it open, asks people to join Amotekun. Anybody who, listen to me, if people have their own agenda, let them push the agenda. They should not now use issues that are occurring to drive the agenda, because the government made an announcement. People applied to join Amotekun. Our fathers, hunters, a lot of them applied to join Amotekun. A lot of them that are not members of Amotekun are volunteering for Amotekun. We have the solidary hunters. We have so many of them. We have different Oyo State vigilante groups. These people are volunteering. If you are not personalizing it on one person, how do you want those people to feel? The person you are mentioning, does he have a structure that he wants to use to fight?
You don't want to mention his name?
I don't want to personalize it. You have mentioned the name.
But he is involved.
Listen.
He's the one you are talking about.
You can talk about it to drive.
Listen. You gathered.
No, you can. You see, the media people are the problem of government.
But you saw the crowd. You
can. Let me tell you something. You can be pushing a narrative to drive your traffic. It is all business. We understand this. But remember that after your business, we might not have a state any longer. It is the media that drove Rwanda to war. I mean, it was the media that drove Rwanda to war. It was the media that made Somalia what it is today. Do you want us to have a Somalia? Are you prepared for the consequences?
Let me ask you a question. Okay, we have a question on YouTube. Remember, you can drop your questions or your comments on YouTube at 32FM 949 Ibadan. Henry Odum says, okay, calling from Canada, but the calls aren't being answered now. I assure you at 9:50, we'll begin to pick calls. He says that, dear Honorable SA, you mean, is very elusive and would not admit that the Oyo State government failed in managing the Okiogun crisis. Where are the criminals? He said were arrested by Amotekun. Okay, well, I think the SA security clarified that last week, that the police has a number of people, although a public parade has not been done. He said, secondly, is the government aware of the murdered Dr. Luborode? Is the government aware that the king of Igagan paid ransom? This is where I want to ask this.
Okay.
From your engagements with the people, do you think, is there a level of complicity in these issues by the traditional rulers?
Yes.
Because if I follow your line of thought, when crime is happening in a place, then the locals are supposed to also take responsibility.
Exactly.
Are the traditional rulers doing enough? Or are they not involved? Or are they involved? Because there were reports sometime last year that some traditional rulers sell land to these Fulani herdsmen.
I want to ask you a question, sir. Let us separate the issue of farmers' herdsmen's crisis from banditry. They might be a bit related. because the people who owns the head, their nationality.
A lot of them are now. A lot of them are perpetrating some of these crimes, kidnapping and killings.
The thing is, the people perpetrating the crimes come from their ethnic nationality. Are you getting what I'm saying? But don't forget that even this issue of banditry is happening in Fulani State too. These bandits are killing fellow Fulanis in Zamfara, in Katsina, in Sokoto. So when you ethnicize this, how do you explain that? The only reason why it's becoming predominant here is because success is slow, and I can understand the emotions of the people. But what we are saying is you cannot isolate yourself from the government. The government is creating a solution. You need to be part of that solution.
Are the traditional rulers doing enough? Have your findings reviewed whether they are in connivance? Are they in connivance with some of these people?
I wouldn't know. You see, you might need to bring the police spokesperson here to ask some questions, because there are some things I cannot say because security issues are involved. It is for them to say, this is the things we have done, X, Y, Z. This is the stage we are. Because don't forget that some of these people arrested will still be prosecuted. So we cannot be talking about certain things. But if the police in their own wisdom feel that some information can be brought to the public domain, they will be the one to decide to bring it. That is number one. Number two, you need to do your findings. Most of the cattle you see around, who owns them? A lot of Yoruba people, rich people, owns those cattle. Not even the Fulani.
Do you have names of some of them?
My brother, you go and do your investigation.
I asked the SA Security the same question like this last week. If the government knows this,
my office is doing the documentation. You see, because
of those who own those cattle.
Yes, because.
And are you going to publish the names?
If I have the approval of the government to publish them, I will do.
Do you think it will make sense to publish the names? So that people know who to hold responsible.
Let me tell you something, sir. Part of the solution is that we are doing documentation on a number of things. The governor will read out the things that have started happening.
I read it.
We will see happening soon. I have them here. I will read them out. And that is why I'm calling out to people to be part of the solution.
Okay, let's do that very quickly before I begin to pick calls.
Okay.
Just in one line. I know you are fully prepared.
Okay.
Just give each of the solutions one sentence, so that I have 10 more minutes.
As I speak to you, or your state government have deployed additional operatives, 200 Amoteco corps to the hotspot. They will be given daily report of the activities to the governor. They will continue to launch missions into those forests so that we clean Oyo State of marauders. That is one. In the next few weeks, which we have even started, my own office have started it, we will be engaging the community people. There will be a serious engagement between the community people and the security people. It has started already. Because some of these strategies that the governor read out were fallout of the town hall meeting that was held in Ibarapa.
Okay.
So there will be community engagement so that the people will understand their own responsibility as prescribed by the law.
Okay. I recall you also talked about documentation. You're going to start
because we will be doing documentation on foreigners. So if you don't know what you do, we cannot have a proper assessment of you, then we evict you out of the state.
Okay.
That is another one. Then there are existing laws. There is open grazing law, open rearing and grazing regulation law 2019. One of the first achievements of Seyi Makinde government was the enactment of that law.
I'm going to come back to you on that because I actually want to take you up on that, Honorable Femi Josiah.
Yeah.
Let's take a call. Hello, good morning. Hello? Yes, good morning. Hello? Oh, sorry, we lost that call. Now, talking about the open grazing prohibition law, right?
Yeah.
Now, the governor spoke about it, and it should give a cause for cheer. But hold on. Hello. Good morning. Hello. Oh, why am I losing my calls? Hello. Good morning.
Hello, Chin. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah. Thank you so much for this engagement.
Thank
I
you.
really appreciate it.
Please tell me your name and where you're calling from.
My name is Olumide Ibitoye.
Okay.
I'm calling from UI.
Okay, thank you. 1 minute.
Yeah. Let me say something. I've had all your things. I've been online. But Sheyi Makinde said something one day. I see it in Oyo State television. He said he was watching his phone and he saw somebody complaining about Amotekun. I want FM to listen to this very well. Why government is demarcating people, dividing people because of politics. He said he was watching it. Now, someone was saying, Amotekun harassing. You know, I say, Amotekun has what now? He now said something that paid me. He said, why would we illegally cooking Sharawa? Which means that person that complained wasn't a party member of PDP. It shouldn't be a right name for the governor. No. Amotekun is the work, is the job, is the prayer of every Yoruba people now. And it's working. Then I want to tell Honorable FM, please, leave sentiment alone. Agree with Sunday Igboho. He has done greeting. He has spoken out. Agree with him. Forget about whether it's your campaign team, it's not your campaign team, he's not working with you. He has worked with you now, and he has done something great.
Okay.
He's only for taking it with them.
Thank you. Thank you, Olumide. Thank you. Your call is appreciated.
Let me quickly correct something.
30 seconds. I'll give you.
Let me
so
quickly correct something.
Okay, 30 seconds.
That Sunday Igboho made an expression in defense of the people. Nobody has come out to say that it is wrong.
It is not wrong that he spoke.
Yes, but for me as a Nigerian citizen that understand the law,
okay,
you cannot give an eviction that you cannot back up with law.
Okay, fine.
It's wrong because that means we are inviting anarchy. Let me tell you something. People should be wary of history.
Hello?
Before that person talk.
Okay,
in 1996, if people forget, we will remind them. All some northerners needed to kill 30,000 Igbos within a week was that Igbos were killing Hausa in southeast, in the eastern Nigeria.
Okay.
And only to find out that information was not true. So we must be careful the way we release information. Okay. Because we will endanger the life of a lot of innocent people in trying to solve a problem. And that is our own position.
Okay, good morning, caller.
Good morning, my name is...
I didn't get your name.
My name is Kola.
Okay, where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Ibadan.
Okay, 1 minute, please. Go ahead.
Yes, I want to say this. You see, particularly on Sunday Igboho, I am not a fan of Mr. Makinde. I don't like the way he governs the state. Economically, it's very poor. But on this security, the governor has done what a governor would do. In fact, what I see Mr. Sunday Igboho doing is that he's taking it an opportunity. Just 2 months ago, as Amotekun was fully established, why didn't he wait for Amotekun to continue their work and see whether they will get results or not before he started his own threat? Mm-hmm. I think the governor has done the right thing. We have our own people in the north. I spent 15 years of my life in the north, and I have so many family members in the north. So if you start asking people to go out, I don't think, when you say you are protecting Yoruba people, what happens to the Yoruba people in the north? Don't you also care about them also? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kola. One final question, because I have limited time now. Why should we trust this government that it will enforce the law that prohibits open grazing? A government that has not enforced the law or the order, as the case may be, that it made on the use of face masks in public places, including the secretariats. You still go to the secretariat and you find civil servants who don't wear face masks right under the nose
I want to ask you
what
a
you call
question,
government.
so-
No, I'm coming. Number 2, enforcement of traffic laws. Now, enforcement of people not selling by the roadside. Why should we trust the government that it will enforce this one?
I want to ask you a question. I will answer you.
Please do.
Law enforcement.
We have 2 minutes.
Law enforcement, whose responsibility is it?
The government.
The government. Now, be specific. It is only those laws that we have officers that can enforce for us that are easily enforceable. If you have the police who are meant to enforce certain things, not enforcing it, and after the governor make a pronouncement that this should be done, who are you going to hold accountable?
Is that not an indictment? Okay, so
It is not,
traffic
because
laws, enforcement of traffic laws.
Let
You
me
have
tell
a
you.
traffic management agency under the
Listen,
governor.
we have traffic management agency. When we started enforcing the traffic law, did you see the videos the opposition was posting all over social media?
So the government is afraid
The
of...
government is not afraid.
The government is afraid
but this
of
is
the political
position.
side.
No, this is the position of the government. We not move people until we provide alternatives. Because the people must survive.
Okay, let's
We are,
manage
we
our
are, we are
time.
not, we are not going to tolerate people's selling by the roadside.
Should we trust this
Minister of Environment have been arresting them.
Should we
if
trust-
you observe, we've been arresting roads.
They still sell on the roadside
they
in
will
OJ
keep-
market.
My brother.
OJ, they still
My
sell on the
brother, my
roadside.
brother. When they arrest them, they go back. If you see anybody doing that, call my number. I will make sure the people concerned do their job.
Should we trust this government? That
If you
this
see
open
any,
grazing
if you
law
see
will be enforced?
anybody doing open grazing in any part of your state, call my number. I will call the people involved to arrest them. It will no longer be tolerated. Let me tell you, Amotekun will enforce this for us.
I want to take some comment very quickly. Okay. Henry Odum says the essay is just dodging my questions under that face mask. Oh. Larry Aziz says your guest is trying to force himself out of questions posed at him, unknown to him that being circumspect exposes him and his boss are guilty and incompetent about security in the state. Tagbe Jule, I don't know, says he's dodging Henry's question still. Adebayo
Maybe you should
Kayode-
ask your question again.
Adebayo Kayode Abdulwahid Bello says, Good morning, Mr. Henry. I salute Honorable Josiah for the message. Journalists need to cooperate with the government of the state on security reports, not to be biased. I know you like that comment, right?
That's the truth.
It has been
You
a
must
nice
be part
day.
of the solution.
It has been a nice
because
time.
because criminals don't know who you are.
We need to go.
Everybody is a victim, including myself.
Underneath are the everlasting arms, protected by the wings of God. It was nice engaging you, Honorable Femi Josiah.
It's
Thank
my
you for
pleasure
always
to be
coming
here.
on the podium. And that is the program this morning. Special thanks to my executive producers, Samuel Akinton and Tayo Ogwade. I worked this morning with Bayonle. And tomorrow, 6 p.m., I'll return to the airwaves. Oh, sorry, I must also appreciate the input of my IT partner, Tony. We call him Otumba. 6 p.m. tomorrow, HEZEKIAH AKINRINDE returns on Gospel Cruise. I wish you a very beautiful weekend.